He explains something clearly. He's explained it 3 times now, and the person across from him still doesn't get it. He doesn't say anything, but something shifts behind his eyes, a quiet frustration he'd never say out loud, because saying it would make him sound arrogant, and he knows he's not. He just doesn't know what he actually is. This feeling has followed him his whole life. Not arrogance, not impatience, something quieter and more complicated than both. There are 2 psychological things happening simultaneously inside him, and once you see them clearly, the frustration stops feeling like a flaw and starts feeling like an explanation. 1. He's not frustrated because others are slow. He's frustrated because he literally cannot remember not knowing. Psychologists call this the curse of knowledge. Once you deeply understand something, your brain loses access to the mental state of not understanding it. It's not that he thinks others are beneath him, it's that the gap between where he is and where they are has become genuinely invisible to him. He can't see it anymore, so he can't bridge it. So he stands on one side of it, wondering why no one is crossing over, not realizing he forgot there was ever a gap to cross. And here's where it stops being about knowledge entirely. 2. The frustration you feel isn't really about the other person. It's about the moment you realize, again, that the way you process the world doesn't have many visitors. You're not angry that they don't understand. You're lonely because you do. Because understanding deeply means living in a version of reality that most people around you aren't inhabiting. And you can't unknow what you know. You can't unsee what you see. So you sit with it quietly, surrounded by people, but completely alone in how you think. 3. So why does this feel like frustration instead of loneliness? Because loneliness is vulnerable. Frustration is easier to carry. It's simpler to feel impatient with someone than to admit that what you're actually feeling is the ache of not being met where you live intellectually. The irritation is real, but underneath it, if you're honest, is something that looks much more like grief. The grief of a mind that moves faster than the connections it desperately wants to make. 4. Here's what changes when you see it this way. The problem was never that others don't understand enough. The problem is you forgot understanding was ever something you had to earn. Every piece of knowledge you carry was once something you didn't know either. Someone was patient with you in that gap, or you struggled through it alone. Either way, you crossed it, and the people around you are simply standing somewhere on a bridge you already finished walking. The loneliness of thinking deeply is one of the least talked about experiences a person can have, because it doesn't look like loneliness from the outside. It looks like confidence. It looks like high standards. It looks like someone who has it together. But on the inside, it's a person who has spent years searching for someone who sees the world the way they do, and finding almost no one. If this explains something you've felt but never been able to name, subscribe. You're not alone in thinking this way. You've just been looking for the wrong word for it.